And welcome back to Trailblazer Weekly, live from the CEC television studios. The women's tennis team is fresh off a 4-0 trip in Colorado, and today we have head coach Eric Pelton here to help us break it all down. Coach, thanks for being here.
It's good to be here.
Great to have you here and chat with you after obviously a tremendous weekend for your team. In fact, at 4-0 right now, I understand, if I'm not being told incorrectly, that that's the best start in your program's history. Am I right?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's the best start we've had, and like I say, from starting the program 10 years ago to where we are now, yeah, they dominated these first four matches, which we've done well in the past, but never quite this well.
Yeah, certainly you can't ask for a better start than that. And if I looked at the stats correctly, really only lost, what was it, 4 matches total in singles play the whole weekend, and it just was a dominant performance for your team. So let's look at that. I mean, let's look at it each day by day. We'll break it down. On Thursday, you're there. You're taking on the host school, Colorado Mesa, in what was one of the closest matches for you all weekend. You get the 6-3 win to start the weekend off on Thursday. How important was that win and vital to getting momentum going forward throughout the weekend?
Yeah, it was important. I mean, going in, I knew we had the team to be able to compete. But again, going in with 3 freshmen, so their first ever match, and then a sophomore, a junior, and 1 senior. I knew we were looking good, but until we actually get out there, it's hard to tell. And so we came out. They did well in the doubles, but again, only picking up 1 point did make us a little nervous. But then they came out and, like I said, just dominated the singles. We picked up 5 out of the 6 singles, which was huge. I was impressed with their performance. Especially with some of the freshmen stepping up and pulling out some big wins. So it was exciting.
So you get that victory on Thursday. Team's on kind of a emotional high after that victory. Then you have your big day. 2 matches on Friday: Colorado Christian in the morning, Metro State Denver in the afternoon. How much does that change your approach as a coach and as a team in general when you know that you've got 2 matches in that one day?
It definitely makes it a little challenging. But again, I know that they've been working hard. I knew that physically they were where they needed to be. I think a lot of it was just going to be coming down to mentally. And so again, coming out in the morning, I wasn't too worried. I knew that they would still be where they needed to be, and so they did. They came out. They played well against Colorado Christian. They won the matches that they needed to, and so again, that was a big win. And then coming into that afternoon, that was probably the biggest match was that next evening match against Metro. After having played 2 matches, already played one that morning, I knew that was really going to be kind of the test of where we are.
So then you wrap up the weekend on Saturday. I mean, you're 3-0 at that point, and you come out and your team just, for lack of a better word, obliterates Colorado State Pueblo. All respect to them, but you get the 9-0 shutout to wrap up the weekend. I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the weekend at 4-0 with a 9-0 shutout.
It was, and they came out, and after 3 matches they were a little bit slow, and it was early, but they picked it up. They closed out the doubles, which was huge, and then they really kind of rolled through the singles, and their singles play has been, amazing. The weekend really impressed me. I knew that we were going to do well. I knew we had chances to really win all 4, but until we actually got there and did it, it was impressive. It was impressive with what they did.
So again, an impressive and extraordinary start for your team. Let's talk about the team now just a little bit. It's kind of an intriguing, not that it isn't every year, but you look at the roster. You've only got 2 players that were on the roster last year. Like you said, a lot of freshmen. You got a good transfer coming in from a different school, and Alex Makashov, but some very talented freshmen. But just talk about the dynamic of that. You only return 2 players, and you're starting with a whole fresh start this year.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I was, like I say, with only two returners, we were a little slim, but I knew coming in that we had some talent coming in, and so it was exciting. I felt that we had the best team we've had probably ever, and so to actually be able to get out there and see it. But no, coming in with the freshmen, no, it's been impressive. Like I say, I've been highly impressed with them and their ability to just go out and win right away, and dealing with those pressure situations and and overcoming them, and definitely Alex as a junior, as a transfer coming in. I mean, she's played 2 years, at some good schools, has some experience, and and she showed that. I mean, she helped us in our Metro win. She was down, 2-5, 40-15, so match set point. She came back, won that set, and then closed out the second set, which I think really helped kind of drive that victory home. So yeah, it's been exciting to kind of see the dynamics of these new girls come in and just step up and take charge.
Would be remiss if I didn't mention more of them by name. We've talked about Lacey, we've talked about Alex, we've mentioned the freshmen, but the Goldsmith twins, they're just a great addition to this team. Kyra Haramis, I mean, you just got to name them all. Kaylee Milligan stepped in and had a big win over the weekend. You got to give them all the shout out and all the credit in the world for a great weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that it is. I mean, all of them, as you mentioned, all their names. I mean, we can talk. I could tell you stories about every one of them this weekend and just what they did and go on. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome.
So you wrap up your fall schedule with the dual matches over there at Colorado Mesa. How does that work from here on out? Are you still practicing at this point? And obviously you don't pick up official play again until the spring. But how does that work with that big long break that you have? Are you still practicing? You're still working on things?
We are. We go into kind of our off season where we can only do a couple hours of individual work a week. So I'll be working with the girls, for an hour or two every week, and then and then they can continue their conditioning. But again, we don't really pick up full practice again until we get back into it in January. So we do as much as the NCAA will allow us, and that's kind of where we're coming in at. So.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by today and just breaking down the weekend with us. We're just, like you, just excited and thrilled about this new team, about what you've done over the weekend, that 4-0 start, and hope that you can continue to build on that in the offseason, and we'll look forward to what you do this next spring season. Before we let you go, we do have our Trailblazer Weekly hard hat here for you to sign. Each of our guests that has stopped by has signed that thing, and it just kind of represents the hard work that the good folks here at CEC did in building our new set for our interviews here on Trailblazer Weekly. So pick a spot on there and sign it. While he does that, it's time to tell you that it's time for another timeout here on Trailblazer Weekly. When we come back, we'll take a look ahead at the next week in Dixie State Athletics, as well as hear from football senior Aubrey Reed in our player profile feature. Stick with us. There's more Trailblazer Weekly after this.